The indigenous people of not only America, but the entire land. Do you know? Let me show you. So who are the indigenous people of not only America, but the entire land? Do you know? Let me show you. So who are
Islam, 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 Islam. Peace, 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 man. Peace. Peace. Greetings, man. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Peace, man. Peace. So yeah, man. Just excited, man. Very, 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 very excited. Very excited of what I'm seeing, of what I'm witnessing. Um, I just love it, man. I just love it. First thing I want to say is by the original creators. All the videos that you see are by the original creators, right? Fair use, copyright, disclaimer. So respect to any videos that I show. Um, no issues, just trying to push out information. That's it. I don't really do this for money. I do this to open up the floodgates about our story, bringing awareness, uplifting fallen humanity, right? Uplifting fallen humanity, uplifting fallen humanity, man. Bringing awareness to our people, the Americans, right? 1828, Webster's Dictionary says the copper colored, type in American, go to the 1828. See, a lot of us already know this, right? But this is for the people that's just waking up. You know, if you're having your spiritual awakening now and you're just waking up, then I'm telling you now, go to the 1828 Webster's Dictionary, type in American. It's going to say the copper colored races, copper, okay? Don't trip off the light because I'm brown, like very, very, very brown. I just got lighting, okay? The copper colored races found here by the Europeans, okay? So I'm just bringing awareness, man. Yeah, uplifting for all humanity, letting my people know and letting the colonizers know that we know. You guys already know. You guys been pulling the wool over our eyes for hundreds of years, man. The jig is up. The jig is up. The Akashic records then woke up in my head, because our higher self, I operate on my higher self all the time. Inshallah. I operate on my, because the lower self, that's what we fight off. We fight off our lower self, our lower self, our lower thoughts, the shape on within us, right? That's what we fight off every second of the day. This is what we fight off. So our higher selves, shout out to Asiya, okay? Our higher selves, the vault of heaven is in your head. That's a quote by Asiya the Duke of Tears. All right? Much love and respect to him. Right? One of the things I've realized since I've come into my spiritual awakening, I've noticed that it's a lot of division and fighting going on within our community. I don't like that. I don't like that. I didn't come into the community for division and confusion. I'm not participating for that. Because if I wanted to do that, I would go outside. I will go out in my neighborhood. It's a bunch of division and confusion that has been set in our communities purposely. I really believe that. It was actually in our community on purpose. I believe that we have some infiltration going on in the community that was purposely put there to cause division and to cause confusion. I really do. I really do believe that either these are physical manifestations or they are demonic spirits that have been set forth within our community so that it'd be division. Because if you really think about it, we can't mount up if we're divided. Same thing within the household. What do? They cause all the, if you cut off the head, if you cut off the dad, if you cut off the divine masculine energy, if you cut that off, then the family is going, how are they going to mobilize? They can't mobilize if the head is gone. If the head is not in the house, if the head is not in the home, then the home cannot mobilize. If you don't have the divine masculine energy and the divine feminine energy in the home raising the child, raising up the child, you know, balance. Balance is everything, right? If you don't have that, then the child can't grow. The child cannot be 100% productive. So same thing, you know, they cause all kind of confusion. You know, when academia writes up their paperwork, man, the paperwork is upside down, just like the compass. We we realize that north is south, right? We realize that east, west, we realize that that's flipped. We realize that north and south is flipped. So same thing with the writing in academia. Everything that they write, everything that we read, damn near, I'm gonna say, man, 95% of it is written upside down. It's written in reverse, right? Like, for example, if they write in the writing that if the first sentence, one thing I've realized, if they want us to think their way, they will put it in the first or second paragraph in whatever we're reading, right? I've read stuff where it said such and such was an immigrant. Within the first one or two sentences in the article, and then when you go down 5 or 6 sentences, it'll say, "Oh, we really don't know, you know, but far as we're concerned, yeah, the individual is an immigrant, but you know, we see the individual coming to the land in the 1500s." I'm just giving you an example, right? We see this individual coming to the land in the 1500s. We really don't know. We're just saying this. So that's the trash that we have to be able to use discernment and using our higher consciousness to be able to unravel all of the trash. Okay? Okay? It's like activating your chakras. It's like your root chakra and your serpentine energy going through your spinal cord and going up to your pineal gland, right? Use that. And you when you're on your higher self, man, and you're clean and you're pure and you're drinking your water and you're eating right, you know, and you're thinking right, you'll be able to use discernment and get the meat out of the substance. Pause. You'll be able to get the meat out of the substance and spit the damn bones out. It's a lot of confusion and trash and damn near everything these colonizers write, man. So we got to be able to overstand this. Okay? Right. So that's my small introduction. You know, I wanted to say, I pray that we get it together in our community, man. And us of like minds, us on our higher selves, operating on our higher selves, that we come out of this trash and always want to, you know, get at your brother all the time, always want to, you know, throw jabs at your brother. Or suppose your brother don't really understand, you can push people away. You can push people away. You can, because you know, man, when I came to my spiritual awakening, man, I wasn't with that. I wasn't with that, and I understand why it's done, but it can confuse some people, especially if you were reared in the hoods like I was reared. You know, I ain't with all like if I wanna live like that, I'll just go back around the way. Nah, man, I'm not with all that trash because I know that the lower self is relentless, and I, like the rest of us, I'm quite sure that we can jump into our lower selves real quick. So I just ask, man, that we get it together and start supporting us with like minds so that we can move forward. We know that in our story we had these divisions. We know that we had these static situations. We warred within our tribes. So I'm hoping that we don't let history repeat itself and we do the same thing again. Yeah, again. So I just ask, man, that we don't do that. It's time for us to unify, strong, and let's get at these colonizers and let's make things right for the generations to come, man. We got seeds coming up. We got seeds coming up. And our seeds need the right direction. They need to be on the Surat al-Mustaqim. Okay? Right. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, of truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector. Man, man, man. This part is so serious. Allah is my protector. Man, y'all. Small prayer. Moment of silence, y'all. It's a lot going on. It's just so much going on, man. There's so much in my mind right now. We have, it's being reported that brothers are getting hung, brothers are coming up missing. Been watching some videos, man. I've been watching a lot, so I gotta kind of hold my tears back, man. It's been so much going on. We got a lot of people out here hurting, man. And I hurt for them. I don't like to hear it. I don't like to see it. It disturbs me. Give me a second. Islam, 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 Islam. I apologize. All right, there's the camera. Okay. My bad, y'all. You know, I'm gonna keep it real, man. It's man, what my people are going through right now. But it's okay, you know what I'm saying? Because one of two things: pressure. Pressure can either bust pipes, or pressure can make a rose break out from a crack in the concrete. So pressure can either make you or break you. It's up to you what you let it do to you. So pause. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Drew Ali, Amin. Okay, let me move forward. My bad, y'all. It's just a lot going on, man. Everybody knows. It's all good. It's all good. We're in a, I believe we're in a new cycle age. I believe that we're in the middle of a reset. And that's all good. We need that. We need that. We need this reset. And we need this new cycle age. You know, especially going into 2026. We going into 2026. So if you do the math on 2026, that is 10. 1 being the beginning of the new cycle, the new age, and 0 being a complete cycle, complete circle. So yeah, it it's time for that. This is what we wanted, right? We got it. We just got to remain on our higher self no matter what. No matter, like the title, matter the situation. We have to remain on our higher selves. I've also noticed that some people are getting attacked. See? And we got to watch media. We got to watch AI. AI is beautiful, but AI has its and its yang. It's masculine and it's feminine. It's North Pole, it's South Pole. There are worlds beyond the poles. So we do understand this, right? So let me do some reading out of our, let me share screen. One sec. 1 second, family. 1 second. I hope all is well. I hope everybody's good. Yes, it's a lot going on, family, but it's all good. That's what we need. We need this. What it's gonna do is tighten us up because honestly, us as Americans, man, we're spoiled. We're spoiled, man. We're spoiled. Everybody walking around looking all plump and all chin, out of shape and overweight, and yeah, this right here is gonna tighten things up. This right here is gonna tighten all of us up. Yeah. So if you wasn't eating right, guess what? You're gonna eat right now. If you wasn't eating right, guess what? You're gonna eat right now. Hmm. Uh, I've always, eaten decent. Praise the Lord on that. But we gonna go here first. We gotta get some scripture first, right? And then make sure everything is recording correctly. All right, cool. We in there, right? So we're gonna go to the holy instructions of unity. All right. I'm gonna read it and then we're gonna break it down. All right. Holy instructions of unity. 1. The gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, and He appointed to everyone his portion, in what measure seemeth good unto himself. 2. Have He endowed thee with wisdom? Hath He enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of truth? Communicate it to the ignorant for their instruction. Communicate it to the wise for thine own improvement. Right? 3. This is out of our Circle 7 Holy Quran, divinely put together by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Number 3. True wisdom is less presuming the folly. Right? Now, whenever you're reading, if you don't know this now, a lot of us that have been studying for a while, we already know this. But like I said, I'm also bringing awareness to the individuals that are just waking up. They're coming into their spiritual awakening. So let me share a screen on this real quick. Right? Let's get the etymology. Let's get the etymon on folly. Right? Let's get the etymon on folly. Right? It's just for those, that's not sure. We don't see this word every day. But this is how you read, man. You read with your etymology dictionary, and you also read with maybe a Webster. I try to use 2 dictionaries when I read, right? But here we go. Folly, right? Early 13th century. Mental weakness, folly behavior or character, unwise conduct, right? Middle English including wickedness, lewdness, madness. From Old French, folly, madness, stupidity, right? An example of foolishness, sense of costly structure considered to have shown folly in the builder, is a test from 1650s, but used much earlier, since Middle English, in place names, especially country estates, probably as a form of Old English, folly, and its meaning, delight. Okay, so now we know what that means, right? Now let's go back to our circle 7 that was divinely put together. Okay, let's get out of this. Let me share the screen. Patience is a virtue, family. You're going to be patient, and we're going to get through this, man. I'm just doing my part. This is my part. My part, I'm doing my job, and I'm bringing awareness. I'm uplifting fallen humanity. To keep us on our higher selves, right? All right, let's go from the beginning. Number 3, true wisdom is less presumingly than folly, right? The wise man doubteth often and changeth his mind. The fool is obstinate and doubteth not. He knoweth all things, but his own ignorance, right? So we got to be humble, man. You got to be humble. And don't think you know everything. You know, I've been in my studies, man, my whole life. You know, shouts to my pop, Dr. Paris McGee Bates Sr. Since I come out the womb, man, it's been knowledge itself, man. You know, I'm not gonna go, okay, let me pause on that. Let's get back to let's get back into the lesson. I'll get into that later. But number 4, the pride of obstinance is an abomination, and to talk much is the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is the part of wisdom to hear with patience. I just said that patience is a virtue. Patience, their impotentness, and to pity their absurdity. All right. Number 5, yet be not puffed up in thine own conceit. Read that again. Yet be not puffed up in thine own conceit. Okay? Be humble, man. Neither boast of superior understanding. We all are babies, man, taking this in. Nobody knows everything, man. Nobody knows everything except the Most High, except Allah. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. Number 6, the wise man feeleth his imperfections and is humbled. Okay? And is humbled. He laboreth in vain for his own approbation, but the fool peepeth in the shadow stream of his own mind, and is pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up and showeth them as pearls, and with the impulse of his brethren delighteth himself. Man. He boasteth of attainments and things that are no worth. But where it is shame to be ignorant, there he hath no understanding. Man. We're going to go into it. Even in the path of wisdom, he toileth after folly, and shame and disappointment are the reward of his labor. Number 9. But the wise man cultivates his mind with knowledge. The improvement of arts is his delight, and their unity to the public croweth with honor. Number 10. Nevertheless, the attainment of virtue he accounteth as the highest learning, and the science of happiness is the study of his life. Okay? Amen. Let me go back, get this up off. I'm savvy with the StreamYard. Just patience, patience, family. All right, we'll stop this. Now, let's break this red down. Where can I start at? Let's say let's see. Okay, this sort of in the Circle 7 Holy Quran emphasizes spiritual equality, mutual responsibility, and the divine bond that transcends material wealth. And let's say that. Let's say that. Right. The spiritual equality over material division. Rich and poor are especially equal before Allah. I'm going to say this sort of teaches that worldly wealth does not determine one's spiritual truth. Material status is temporary, but the soul's journey and righteousness are eternal. Okay? Yeah. Mutual responsibility and brotherhood. The rich are urged to support the poor. You know this, right? The rich should support the poor. Not out of pity, but as a divine duty. As a divine duty. Most don't. Most trample over the small guy. Well, I mean, as far as money is concerned, or I wouldn't say the reserve note, because the reserve note is not money. That's actually a counterfeit to what money really is. Money is, well, you know, currency is actually silver and gold. Yeah, silver and gold. But the poor are reminded not to envy the rich, but to strive for spiritual growth and trust in divine provision. So that's where I was getting ready to go. I look at it like this: wealth is actually your health. Yes. Wealth is your health, and how divine are your thoughts? Are you operating on your higher self? Are you staying out of that lower self, which will get you in trouble, which will keep you in trouble? You know, like I was saying earlier, I've noticed that a few brothers are getting and sisters are getting attacked because we're having these you know, people are set tripping, you know, quote unquote. People are set tripping. You know, you know, my people did this and your people didn't do that, and we did this and we this and we that, and y'all ain't this and y'all ain't that, and you ain't this and you ain't that, and I'm the shit and you ain't the shit. Pause, you know, pardon my, you know, my profanity, but you know, it's just wild, man. You know, it's just wild. It's wild what I'm seeing. The division, the division and the confusion. You know, I had to realize that just because someone is copper toned does not mean that they are a part of my family, because it's not, this whole thing is not based on skin hue. It's not based on this. It's based on your spiritual development. Are you on your higher self, or are you on your lower self? Are you plotting on setting your brother up? Are you plotting on robbing your brother? Are you trying to kill your brother? Are you trying to hurt your brother? Especially when your brother not doing nothing to you. Is that what you're doing? Well, you're gonna have to deal with that anyway, because karma is real. You're gonna have to deal with your karma. Or are you on your higher self? Are you trying to help your brother? Are you trying to help your brother elevate? If you got the keys to help the brother establish business, then why not help him? If we don't help each other, who the hell else gonna help us? Ain't nobody else gonna help us if we don't help each other. You know, but everybody want to be the man. Everybody want to be the, you know, I want to be the head honcho. I want to be the big dog. I want to be, you know, top flight. So I'm a dog my brother so I can be the man. That's petty shit. That's very petty. Very, very, very petty. And you're gonna reap what you sow. Yeah, you're gonna reap what you sow. All this foolishness that we going through right now, man, this ain't the time for that, bro. This ain't the time for that, family. This ain't the time for that. Like I said, we are in a reset. We are entering a new cycle age. So either history is going to repeat itself and we're going to fall again, or we're going to operate in a defined fashion so that we can all link. If all the links in the chain are tight, the chain will not break. Okay? We got to tighten up, man. This is tighten up season. And for me, I'm not taking no shorts. I'm not taking no shorts. Like I said, this is for the generations to come. And I'll be damned if my seeds are going to have to go through the confusion that I had to go through. I had to bump my head 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before I finally got it together. And this was at my own accord. I'm the oldest of 12. I don't have no big brothers or no big sisters or no big, I don't have that. I don't have that role. I never had that role model to learn from. All of the people that were older than me, they was egging me on. Go ahead and rock out. Go ahead and rock out, P. Go ahead and rock out. Nobody said, no, P, pause. Don't do that. But by the grace of Allah, man, I got it together. Gratitude. Gratitude for that, man. Woo. My bad, man. 5 decades, bro. 5 decades, man. 5 decades. I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot. I've had beautiful times. I've had not so beautiful times. I had to bump my head 2 or 3 times before I finally shook my head and got it right. But by the grace of Allah, man, by the grace of the Great Spirit, I got it. I got it. Yeah, that's why I know, man, it's a stronger force working right now, bro. It's a stronger force working right now. And I love it, man. I love it, man. And it feels great. It feels great. It feels great. It's almost like the dopamines in my brain have been activated the more and more and more I study, the more and more that I attain knowledge of self, the more and more I dig, the more and more I work on my health. I work on my relationship with my wife and my children and my parents. It ain't perfect, because us spiritual cosmic beings that are operating on our higher self, a lot of people that's not in their spiritual awakening, we are kind of outcast a little bit. People look at us like, what's going on? What's going on with him? Ain't nothing going on with me but righteousness, but higher self, consciousness. That's what's going on with me. Tapping in with the ancestors, man. To the do right ancestors. Because I'm quite sure we all got some ancestors that didn't do so right. So I stay away from them, from the ancestors that might have did something lower, lower self. Because remember, like I said, that is relentless. Right? Yeah, man. Yeah. But as I was thinking about putting this together, putting this presentation together for us, it started to make me think about the 7 Hermetic principles. So let me put them up real quick. Let me share the screen. Like I said, for the viewers that are already have already bathed in these topics that I'm talking about, you guys already know. But I'm quite sure somebody's going to watch this video the first time. This the first time they've seen this type of content. Let's be patient for that the newcomer. Yes, the newcomer. Okay, so we have the Kybalion, right? We have the Kybalion, and we have the 7 Hermetic principles. Okay, I love that number 7. I was born in the 7th month. So, do your knowledge on the 7. I'm not going to tell everything. If this is for you, then you have to start doing some homework yourself. Us that are well studied, we know what the divine number of 7 is. All right. So the 7 Hermetic principles. Okay. The principles of truth are 7. He who knows these understandingly possesses the magic key, before whose touch all the doors of the temple flies open. The Kybalion. The 7 Hermetic principles upon which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based. Hermes. Do your knowledge on Hermes. Okay? Us that are well studied, we know about Hermes. Are as follows. Number 1, the principle of mentalism. Number 2, the principle of correspondence. Number 3, the principle of vibration, like quantum physics, energy, frequency, vibration. Number 4, the principle of polarity. Number 5, the principle of rhythm. The principle of rhythm. Right. Number 6, the principle of cause and effect. Number 7, the principle of gender. These 7 principles will be discussed and explained as we proceed. So I'm going to break them down for you so we can have a full overstanding. Okay? So, number 1, the principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. The principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that the all, which is subsequently reality underlining all the outward manifestations and appearances, which we know under the terms of the mental universe, the phenomena of life, matter, energy, and in short, all that is apparent to our mental senses is spirit, which in itself is unknowable and undefinable, but which may be considered and thought of as an universal, infinite, living mind. It also explains that all the phenomenal world or universe is simply a mental creation of the all, subject to the laws of created things, and that the universe as a whole and in its parts or units, as its existence in the mind of the all, in which mind we live and move and have our being. The principle, and move this up some. The principle, by establishing the mental nature of the universe, easily explains all the variable mental and psychic phenomena that occupy such a large portion of the public attention, and which, without such explanation, are non-understandable and defy scientific treatment. An understanding of this great hermetic principle of mentalism enables the individual to readily grasp the laws of mental universe and to apply the same to his well-being and advancement, and to his well-being and advancement. So you got to get into these 7 hermetic principles. Okay, if you want to attain the full ability of operating on your higher self, the hermetic student is enabled to apply intelligently the great mental laws instead of using them in a hazardous manner, right? With the master key in his possession, the student may unlock many doors of the mental and psychic temple of knowledge and enter the same freely and intelligently. This principle explains the true nature of energy, power, and matter, and why and how all these are subordinate to the mastery of mind. One of the old Hermetic masters wrote long ages ago, man, long ages ago, many moons ago. He who grasps the truth of mental nature of the universe is well advanced on the path of mastery. And these words are as true today as at the time they were first written. Without this master key, mastery is impossible, and the student knocks in vain at the many doors of the temple. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to knock in vain. Number 2, the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. Like I said, the yin and the yang, the North Pole and the South Pole, the masculine energy and the divine feminine energy is how you balance out the Kybalion. This principle embodies the truth that there is always a correspondence between the laws of phenomena of the various planes of being and life. The old Hermetic axioms ran in these worlds as above, as these words, as above, so below, as below, so above. Okay, I'm trying to think if I want to read. I don't want to be too long. I've read this quite a few times. I'm gonna let you guys. I'm gonna finish reading. It's not that much. 1 second. Okay. All right. And the grasping of the principle gives one of the means of solving many a dark paradox and the hidden secret of nature. There are planes beyond our knowing, but when we apply the principle of correspondence to them, we are able to understand much that would otherwise be unknowable to us. This principle is of universal application and manifestation on the various planes of the material, mental, and spiritual universe. It is an universal law. The ancient Hermeticists considers this principle as one of the most important mental instruments by which man was able to pry aside the obstacles which hid from view the unknown. Its use even tore aside the veil of Isis to the extent that a glimpse of the face of the goddess might be caught. And let me move up some more. Just as a knowledge of the principles of geometry, because you know the Moors, we introduced algebra, geometry, yeah, let's just say mathematics. We introduced that to the world. They saying Europe, the world, geometry enables man to measure distant suns and their movements. While seated in this observatory, so a knowledge of principle of correspondence enables man to reason intelligently from the known to the unknown. Studying the monad, he understands the archangel or the archangels. Number 3, the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. The Kabbalion. This principle embodies the truth that everything is in motion, everything vibrates, nothing is at rest. Facts which modern science endorses, and which each new scientific discovery tends to verify. And yet this Hermetic principle was enunciated thousands of years ago by the masters of ancient Egypt. This principle explains that the differences between different manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit result largely from varying rates of vibration from the all, which is pure spirit, down to the grossest form of matter. All is vibration. The higher the vibration, the higher the position in the scale. The vibration of spirit is at such an infinite rate of intensity and rapidity that is practically at rest. Move up some. Just as a rapidly moving wheel seems to be motionless, and at the other end of the scale, there are gross forms of matter whose vibrations are so low as it seems at rest between these poles. There are millions upon millions of varying degrees of vibration, from corpuscle and electron, atom and molecule, to worlds and universes. Everything is in vibratory motion. This is also true on the planes of energy and force, right? And also on the mental planes. Also mental planes. And even on the spiritual planes. An understanding of principle with the appropriate formulas enables Hermetic students to control their own mental vibrations as well as those of others. The masters also apply the principle to conquering of the natural phenomenon in various ways. He who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power, says one of the old writers. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has a pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All the truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The Kabbalion. Man. Deep. Deep. It's like the zodiacs. It's like the zodiacs. See, I'm Cancer. So my polarity would be Capricorn. So you put the two together, and that's a full cycle. Both are 180 degrees. That's how you get your 360 degrees. One full cycle, one full circle. Right? Okay. This principle embodies the truth that everything is dual. Everything has two poles. Everything has its pair of opposites, all of which were old Hermetic axioms. It explains the old paradoxes that have perplexed so many, which have been stated as follows. Thesis and antithesis are identical in nature, but different in degree. Opposites are the same, differing only in degree. The pairs of opposites, my fault, man. You know, as you go into your spiritual awakening, man, you will, the pieces of the puzzle will start to come together. And as I read and as I study, the pieces of the puzzle will start to come together. And as I'm reading, I'm starting to get it clear in my pineal, in my heart chakra. Yeah, it's deep. It's deep. We here, man. We studying, man. We working, man. So be patient. I know, like I said, a lot of us are already well studied in the 7 Hermetic principles. But like I said, we're doing this for the newcomer also. And people that, you know, repetitive is we were just talking about it. Right. So where we at? Okay, different degree. The pairs of opposites may be reconciled. Extremes meet. Everything is and isn't at the same time. All truths are but half truths. Also, when I'm in front of a camera, I get a little nervous, but I'm starting to settle down a little bit. Plus, I'm still kind of a little, flustered about what's going on, man, with these hangings and all this foolishness that's going on. But we remain on our higher selves, no matter the situation. So let's go. It explains that in everything there are two poles or opposite aspects, and that opposites are really only the two extremes of the same thing, with many varying degrees between them. To illustrate heat and cold, although opposites, are really the same thing. The differences consisting merely of degrees of the same thing. Look at your thermometer and see if you can discover where heat terminates and cold begins. Well, I understand that. I know some HVAC and I understand electrical theory. I'm also an overhead lineman and a gas mechanic. I worked for the energy company in my city for 10 years, amongst other things. But let me get back. I don't want to get distracted. Okay. So heat and cold are simply the two poles of that which we call heat. And the phenomena attended thereupon are manifestations of the principle of polarity. The same principle manifests in the case light and dark. Man. Which are the same thing. The difference consisting of varying degrees between the two poles of phenomena. Where does darkness leave off and light begin? What is the difference between large and small? Between hard and soft? Between black and white? Between sharp and dull? Between noise and quiet? Between high and low? Between positive and negative? The principle of polarity explains these paradoxes, and no other principle can supersede it. The same principle operates on the mental plane. Let us take a radical extreme example, that of love and hate. Two mental states apparently totally different, and yet there are degrees of hate and degrees of love. Man, man. And the middle point in which we use the terms like and dislike, which shade into each other so gradually that sometimes we are at loss to know whether we like or dislike or neither. And all the simply degrees of the same thing, as you will see if you will but think a moment, right? And more than this, considered of more importance of the hermetist. It is possible to change the vibrations of hate to the vibrations of love. Man, because we know love is how you grow. Love is how you procreate. Love is how you create. In one's mind, in the minds of others, many of you who read these lines have had personal experiences of the involuntary rapid transition from love to hate. And the reverse in your own case and that of others. Move up some. And you will therefore realize the possibility of this being accomplished by the use of the will, by means of the Hermetic formulas, good and evil, are but the poles of the same thing. And the Hermeticist understands the art of transmuting evil into good by means of the application of the principle of polarity. In short, the art of polarization becomes a phase of mental alchemy, known and practiced by the ancient and modern Hermetic masters. And understanding the principle will enable one to change his polarity as well as that of others if he will devote the time and study necessary to master the art. Come on. The principle of rhythm. I'm a musician, so I love rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum. The pendulum. It's almost like a pendulum. What do you call it's in music? Quantizing. You know, when you're keeping things on beat. Right. Okay. My fault, y'all. I'm just getting into it, man. I love, like I said, when I'm studying, it's like these dopamines in my brain just click, 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 click. I love it. Right? The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates the value. That's good. The principle embodies the truth that in everything there is manifested a measured motion to and fro, a flow and inflow, a swing backward and forward, a pendulum like movement, a tide like ebb and flow, a high tide, a low tide, between the two poles which exist in correspondence with the principle of polarity. I'm about to say that. Principle of polarity describes a moment, like I described a moment ago. I was about to say this sounds like polarity, right? There is always an action and a reaction, an advance and a retreat, a rising and a sinking. This is the affairs of the universe: suns, worlds, men, animals, mind, energy, and matter. See, this is the first time I ever read the actual definitions. I took the 7 Hermetic principles and I kind of used my own mind, and I also did the etymon on the words. I didn't really look at a breakdown like this. So now that I'm looking at the breakdown, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So this law is manifest in the creation and the destruction of worlds, in the rise and the fall of nations, in the life of all things, and finally in the mental states of man. And it is with this latter that the Hermeticists find the understanding of the principle most important. The Hermeticists have grasped this principle, finding its universal application, and have also discovered certain means to overcome its effects in themselves by the use of the appropriate formulas and methods. They apply the mental naturalization, They cannot annul the principle or cause it to cease its operation, but they have learned how to escape its effects upon themselves to a certain degree, depending upon the mastery of the principle. They have learned how to use it instead of being used by it, right? See, I'm gonna learn how to use it, I'm not gonna be used by it, right? In this and familiar methods consists the art of the hermeticist, the master of hermetics, polarizing himself at the point at which he desires to rest, and then neutralizes the rhythmic swing of the pendulum, which would tend to carry him to the other pole. All individuals who attained any degree of self-mastery do this to a certain degree, more or less unconsciously, but the master does this consciously and by the use of his will, and attains a degree of poise and mental firmness almost impossible of belief on the part of the masses, who are swung backward and forward like a pendulum. Right? This principle and that of polarity have been closely studied by the Hermeticists, and the methods of counterattacking, neutralizing, and swinging them form an important part of the Hermetic mental alchemy. The principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law, the Kabbalion. This principle embodies the fact that there is a cause for every effect, an effect from every cause. It explains that everything happens according to law, that nothing ever merely happens, that there is no such thing as chance, that while there are various planes of cause and effect, the higher dominating the lower planes, still nothing ever entirely escapes the law. The Hermeticists understand the art and methods of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect to a certain degree, and by mentally rising to a higher plane, they became causers instead of effects. The masses of people are carried along obedient to environment, the wills and desires of others stronger than themselves, heredity, suggestion, and other outward causes moving them about like pawns on the chessboard of life. But the masters rising to the plane above dominate their moods, character, qualities, and powers, as well as the environment surrounding them, and become movers instead of pawns. They help to play the game of life. Instead of being played and moved about by other wills and environment, they use the principle instead of being its tools. The master obey the causation of the higher planes but they help to rule on their own plane. In this statement, there is condemned a wealth of Hermetic knowledge. Let him read. Let him read who can. The principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principle, gender, manifests on the planes, the Kabbalion. It's the last one. It's the last one, family. So we studying, man. I mean, look. What else you doing? Right. So sit back and let's get this. Okay? Stay out the way. We are uplifting fallen humanity. We're keeping our mind, our spirit, and our soul intact. We're not taking in the trash that's going on in the media, right? We're doing mind, body, and soul exercises, working out. So let's get to it. The principle embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything, the masculine and feminine principles ever at work. This is true not only in the physical plane, but the mental and even the spiritual planes. On the physical plane, the principle manifests as sex. On the higher planes, it takes higher forms, but the principle is ever the same. No creation, physical, mental, or spiritual, is possible without this principle. An understanding of its laws will throw light in many of the subject that has perplexed the minds of men. The principle of gender works ever in the direction of generation, regeneration, and creation. Everything and every person contains the two elements of principles, or the great principle within it, him or her. This is almost like polarity. This is almost like cause and effect. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, where we at? Oh, the principle of gender works ever in the direction of generation, regeneration, and creation. Everything and every person contains the two elements or principles, or this great principle within it, him or her, right? Every male thing has a female element also, right? It's like masculine energy. It's like divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy, right? Okay. Generation and regeneration. You must understand and study this Hermetic principle. It contains the solution of many mysteries of life. We caution you that this principle has no reference to the many base, pernicious, and degrading lustful theories, teachings, and practices which are taught under the fanciful titles. Move up some. And which are prostitution of the great natural principle of gender. Such base revivals of the ancient infamous forms of phallicism tend to ruin mind, body, and soul. And the Hermetic philosophy has ever sounded the warning note against these degrading teachers, right? Which tend towards lust, licentious, and perversion of nature's principles. If you seek such teachings, you must go elsewhere for them. Hermeticism contains nothing for you along these lines. Great. To the pure, all things are pure. To the base, all things are base. So these are your 7 Hermetic principles explained. Okay? So let's look at some videos real quick, man, so we can have some awareness on what's actually going on out here in these wild streets, man. It's a lot going on. But even though it's a lot going on, we don't let fear sit in. We don't do that, because we also know that the media likes to, the media has learned how to control us, right? And they will push trash at us to get a fearful response, right? So when we're watching the media, don't get all tangled up into what they're saying. First, you need to make sure that whatever they're saying is true. Because, like I said, they play a lot of mind games with us. Half of this shit I don't even believe. Like, I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. I haven't done nothing on Charlie Kirk. Or Charlie, Captain Kirk or whatever. I ain't done nothing on him. You know what I mean? Because me, I'm a little different. I wouldn't give him no energy. I wouldn't give him no oxygen. I wouldn't give him none. I'm not talking. For what? Why would I talk about him? Is he even real? Because we know that the whole situation was a hoax. I mean, the offing of him, that was silly. So now I'm starting to feel like, was any of it real? Was Captain Kirk, was that whole situation real? See, I'm a little different, man. I'm a decoder. I am a real decoder. Decoder. Where do you think they got the word decoder from? Exactly. Exactly. The shouts to the wife. She sent me some fire videos. And I was just like, oh man, what is this? What is this? Let me share screen, family. All right, so look, check this out. Check this out. Check this out. So this brother here, all right, hold up. Where's my sound? See, playing games, man. Okay, here we go. Hold on, family. Wait a minute. Let me show you something first. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Patience, y'all. Patience. I don't usually use Instagram when I'm doing my videos. This is the first time I've ever used Instagram, recording my videos. So just work with me, please. We're gonna go ahead first. These truck drivers, they going through it, man. These truck drivers, they going through it. Man, what's going on? Patience, family, patience, man. All right, check this out.
Not me, cause I tried Jesus. Not me, cause I grow lame. Try Jesus, please don't try me. Try Jesus.
So really, what's going on, man? They messing with these brothers, man. They messing with these brothers. Been fighting a whole bunch of some of them are just a whole bunch of trash, man. You know, stuff that they always do. Ain't nothing new. See, this brother right here vanished. He did a video.